nitr0, your last match with Liquid before you stepped down. Just what is the moment like for you right now?
Um, Obviously, it's kind of just sucks like losing like that in that fashion, but it's bittersweet, you know. Retiring for a reason and not just quitting for no reason, like with no plan. It's bittersweet. Like I obviously enjoy the game a lot. Sorry, there's a bug in my face. I love Counter Strike. I've been playing forever, basically since as long as I can remember. Because my brothers would play. Dude, I'm getting assaulted by a bug. Sorry, but yeah. I mean, obviously, like the game is still going to be there, and I can find competition in other ways, like streaming. If there is like a CS Valorant offer, something like that. If that comes into fruition, then I'll have to consider it, obviously, because um, I'm still super competitive. I think the community thinks I'm older than I actually am. I'm only 27. I feel like they think I'm like 35, but I still feel really young. I still feel really good mechanically. It's just these last couple years or last year and a half has been pretty rough for me coming back to Counter Strike after not playing the game for a year and a half. So it was obviously a risk that I was willing to take, and I had some good moments, some really bad moments. So it is what it is, and I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to try again.
In what way has it been rough for you?
Um, well, when I first started, obviously I was in-game leader under the Shocks roster, and coming back, I had to catch up to the current meta, watch a lot of games back. It was a lot of work, a lot of work. The update with the grenades dropping was huge. Back then, it was a lot more simple. You know, it was like this player has this nade set, this player has this nade set. Let's call like the certain way, and it was very easy to understand. Now it's like this person can drop a flash. It just opened a bunch of opportunities for the macro game, and it was really cool. I think it's a super good update, but coming back, it was a big update for me, and it was something that I had to really think about and build my game around that update. But yeah.
Between your first tenure in Liquid and now, what would be the biggest, difference for you?
When I was first playing,
Yes.
um, it wasn't that much different, to be honest. I guess just like the personalities on the team was probably the biggest difference. I feel like Yukender and Stewie have a similar personality. Obviously, Elijah's still the same, Naf's still the same, and then we have an Opper. So bringing an Opper into the dynamic was different for us because we never really had that when I was on the team. We were kind of throwing it around a bit, right? And then like before the JDM drop, I started opping, or after the JDM drop, I started opping. So that was a big difference. And even when I was in Valorant, I wasn't really IGLing. I IGL for like maybe 2 months towards the end of the game because Steel was the main IGL, but I was still there to help and give my input and stuff. So it was kind of a different mentality change for me going into CS. And obviously I had done it before in Counter-Strike, so it wasn't like that big of a difference. It was just I had to rewire my brain in a certain way and think about the game.
When you announced that you were stepping down, you said one of the big factors was the travel, but here you're saying you're still willing to compete maybe in Valorant. What's the difference between like competing here and then competing in Valorant for you then?
So the biggest difference is like Valorant is a franchise game, so you live in LA, you go to work, come home. So it's more traditional, whereas like a CS, it's like you don't know exactly when you're going to be gone. You have to base your whole entire schedule around flights and stuff. And if you want to do boot camp, it's usually 2-week boot camp into tournament. So you're usually gone for about a month minimum. And depending on what tournaments you want to accept, what tournaments you want to deny, it's pretty hectic. And then even then, it's like CS2 is coming out. It's like, when is that game actually going to be released? What tournaments are going to have the game? Like, so there's just a lot of ambiguity within the scene right now with the new game being released. But yeah, it is a lot of travel, obviously, for a North American player because it can't just be at home. Like, we tried playing NA/EU with 120 ping, and I'm waking up at like 4 a.m. to scrim, and it's just like it's really hard.
It's funny you talked about how old you are and people thinking you're older because even Rain was saying the same thing at the Major Hunter. Like, the second you have a kid, people are like, oh, you're like 35 now.
Yeah, I mean, I read a lot of comments that people think I'm like washed and like old and all that stuff, but I'm like, I don't feel washed or old at all. I still feel like I'm the same person I was before. I just have kids. And yeah, I don't know. It's just a bit of a mentality change once you have children, obviously.
Kind of reflecting on moments of your career in Counter-Strike, is there something in particular that stands out or a couple of highlight moments that you can reflect on?
Um, there's three that come to mind. The Columbus major, the first one, where we made semis, and we beat some good teams there and choked at the same time. The Cologne major final was really, really fun for us, especially since our situation, like we had to stand in and stuff. It was like crazy that we made that run. And then obviously the Grand Slam is number one for us because it's just the peak of all of our careers on this team. And it's just a surreal feeling winning Cologne, one of the best tournaments in CS history, right? In the Cathedral. So that was a really cool moment.
A lot of peaks, a lot of lows as well. What would be the biggest regret?
Biggest regret? I don't really regret anything, to be honest. And in my career, I think I've had a pretty good career considering like the region that we're from and just the players that we played with. I feel like we've done a good job. It just sucks that like throughout my 8-year career, I would say it's like we were only winning like 1 year. So that kind of sucks if you really think about it in this large span of things. But we still had like a good 2018 and stuff. We had some tournament wins in 2017. So it's like it's hard to even regret anything, to be honest. I really love the game and my teammates.
As I said, last event for you. Any plans after this event, whether it be sticking around or just long term going into the rest of the year?
Well, I have plans like because the player break. Well, it doesn't really matter anymore, right? But I have plans for the player break to just like go home, see family and stuff because we moved away. But not really, man. I'm just gonna start my stream, see if I can build something there and within the community or my community, and just maybe like I've always wanted to help people, and I feel like helping people in Counter-Strike would be a plus. Like if I can teach them something, then that makes me feel good about myself. And I feel like I have a lot of knowledge because I have so much experience playing, and especially being in IGL, I have a lot of solutions for things. So if I can somehow figure out a way to help people, and even if it comes to Valorant, just helping people in general when it comes to FPS gaming, like what does it consist of? What do you need to do to be better, be a better teammate, a better individual player? It doesn't matter. If I can help people in a certain way, then that'll make me feel good, and I'll feel way more accomplished as a streamer or whatever I do next.
When you say help people, do you mean just mostly teaching them through streaming, or do you kind of mean like maybe going into a lower tier and just playing from home, kind of that deal?
More through streaming, yeah. I would feel kind of weird playing in like a lower tier. I don't know, because I've thought about it, but it's like I have so much experience at tier 1 that going to tier 2 and kind of playing wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't really necessarily fuel my competitive drive, and yeah, it's just something I haven't really considered, to be honest. So it'd be mainly through streaming.
Awesome. Thank you, nitr0. Congrats on your career as well.
Thank you.